Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today, we're discussing how to no longer seek external validation. Are you the type of person where when something bad happens to you, when you get into an argument or you get into a car accident, you spilled your drink or your boss at work lectured you, do you feel the compulsive need to immediately turn to somebody and tell them what happened and just vent or look for a response or an opinion? Do you feel as though you tend to rely on the decisiveness of other people whenever it comes to having to choose a very important decision or even how to resolve a conflict that you have personally? If you feel like you do these things and deep down there's a part of you that always depends on another person, whether you can admit it in those words or not, but you feel it in your body, the yearning for immediate comfort, then you need to be staying for the rest of the video. First, we will start with defining what is validation, or at least self-validation. Self-validation is the ability to recognize, accept, and affirm your feelings and your internal or external experiences. For example, you need to have the self-awareness and the confidence in your own understanding of yourself to be aware that you can recognize, I'm angry right now, I'm disappointed right now, I'm anxious right now. Being able to acknowledge what you're feeling and recognize the own patterns within yourself and being able to recognize how a certain situation is influencing you emotionally, that's recognition, that's acknowledgement. And then what comes after that is having acceptance of those feelings and being able to tell yourself that it makes sense that I'm mad. Someone just canceled on me last second. It makes sense that I'm anxious. I'm about to go to court for the first time in my life, etc. You're not some crazy creature on this earth. You experience the same emotions as everyone else in this world does for your own situations, but at the end of the day, it's really your actions that are what count. So being able to accept what you're feeling and not feel any shame of it is validating yourself. After you accept the feeling that you're having, then affirming yourself that it's okay and taking away that guilt is what's going to give you that power that you don't need from other people. You could tell yourself, yeah, anyone who is in my position would feel this way. Even if no one in the world will ever experience your position, you're the only person that knows exactly how it went, and you have to give yourself enough credibility to go, okay, I experienced that, I've psychoanalyzed it enough, and I was aware enough and smart enough throughout it, and now to be able to put into words how I feel, how that person feels, how it affected both of us, etc. And with that, then you look at your situation and you go, okay, I'm a good judge of this. I'm a good judge of what's happening, and I think that my emotions and my feelings are justified, or at least there's a reasonable cause for them. Having this self-validation decreases your self-guilt and the shame that you carry within you in almost every decision you make, even small ones that could be simple gestures to a cashier when you pass through their line. Also increases your emotional regulation in the sense that you don't have this need to keep going and being like, oh, this happened, like, what do you think? This happened, what do you think? And you get to privatize your life more, and you get to keep your space more sacred, and you just get to have your own bubble that you feel like if you were put anywhere on this earth, you would be able to handle a given situation. Obviously, ideally, no one would want to be put anywhere randomly on this earth and be given any random situation, but life doesn't always work the way you want it to, and you always want to prepare for the worst case scenario. It's a good trait to have, to know that, I'm pretty confident in my cognitive thinking and my function and my reaction and my judgment of things, that I'm not in full fear of the unknown. You become less overwhelmed all the time, and this anxiousness, this constant paranoia and overthinking of a situation and the feelings that come with it, those are going to decrease because you've already decided before going into a situation, or before going into any situation, or just life, before waking up the next day, you've decided to yourself that I'm confident in my brain. I'm confident in myself enough that I'm not going to judge myself. I'm not going to make myself scared of entering a new environment. Even if I make a mistake, I'm not going to judge myself for it either, because I would have tried with the best of my ability, and that's really all I can ask to do. Having this level of self-validation, it builds your self-esteem. You need confidence. You need self-esteem to have self-validation. If you don't believe any of those things about yourself that are good, why would you think an opinion of yours is good? Why would you think your interpretation of something is good? It's going to force you to rely on other people because you can't even trust your own judgment. And not only does that improve the relationship you have with yourself, but it's going to improve the relationship you have with other people, because you're going to be less emotionally dependent on them, physically dependent on them, any dependent on them, if you were using them for any sort of validation. Also, you're defining your self-worth. You are identifying yourself as your own persons, your own thoughts, your own systems of belief, your own thought processes, and that attracts people. People want to be surrounded by people with their own identity. Nobody wants to be surrounded by people that are leeching off of them and need their energy, that always need their advice, need their direction, or need their brain. Like, yeah, I love to help people and I love to give people advice, but if I feel like someone depends on me for every decision that they make, it's gonna make me aversive to them. It's gonna make me want to be avoidant. It's gonna make me want to be distant. It's gonna make me think like, dude, why don't you work on the root? The first thing that my brain would genuinely go to is, you see that you have to come to me so often for your inability to figure out what you have to do in a situation. And it's like, you need to fix the root, because what you're doing is trying to put a band-aid on all these little boo-boos, when it's like, stop getting poked at, stop having thin skin that gets poked so easily. Like, build your own identity, build your own self-worth first, and then you'll realize quickly that you really don't need the opinion of other people. It could just be conversation if you really wanted it to be, but you want to take away that immediate, oh my God, I can't believe that this happened. I need to da 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 da. Like, believe it. Believe that it happened, because it did, and just do what you can with it. Like, that's really it. But I'm not gonna just tell you to do that and expect you to just throw yourself fresh fish in the water and figure it all out. The best way to fix the root of the problem is being able to identify the root of the problem. Every person is gonna have a different experience of life, and every person's gonna be shaped and influenced by their surrounding that they had growing up, the surrounding that they have currently, and I guess the surrounding that they anticipate in the future as well. But some examples that I may personally be familiar with are a possible lack of validation from anyone in your childhood. It could be from just your parents. It could be from just your siblings. It could be the mix of both. It could be from the lack of it from teachers. It could be that on top. Any form of deprivation of praise, reinforcement, affirmations, and just validating someone's intelligence, validating someone's existence by just acknowledging them, talking to them, making them feel like their existence on this earth makes an impact. How are you going to feel any self-worth if you don't think that your existence on this earth makes a difference? If you aren't shown in your life that you mean anything to anyone, if you feel like nobody on this earth cares a dang about what you did today, or how much you know about this, how much do you like this, you're literally going to think that no opinion of yours matters to anybody but yourself. And when you go out into the real world, it's hard to work with that mindset, because you interact with other people. So in the moment of you interacting with them, you're still trying to learn from them, and you're still trying to gauge, oh, what does this person want to hear from me? What does this person want me to do, want me to say? And that's desperate. That's with no self-value. That's on a low vibration. That's going to make you feel like you owe the world something all the time, because you're constantly trying to be like, okay, well, what can I offer them that's going to make them give a crap about what I have to say? Just how I said that you push away people that want to be around people with high self-value, you also attract low vibration people that want to take advantage of that desperation. Not calling you desperate in the way that like it's your fault, you're trying to be desperate, but it's just what it comes off as to other people that see it. Another example that I'm quite familiar with is if you've had a traumatic experience from being around a narcissist, whether it's a family member, friend, or honestly a stranger or classmate, or someone you just had to be around enough that they influenced you. As you guys may know, narcissists have the tendency to be extremely condescending and controlling to the people around them. And in that, they are attracted to people that are easier to walk over, easier to be convinced of something. Those who are more desperate to seek validation from somebody else, because they already have themselves on this pedestal, it's easy for them to look down on everyone. And then when they see the people that are willingly accepting this higher level that they think they're at, they eat it up. In terms of like having been traumatized from one in the past, if you spent a long time around a narcissist and they treated you this way, it's probably going to be engraved in your subconscious that you are not superior to anybody. Not that anyone should compare themselves or compete with each other, but you're just going to have this internal lack of validation because there was someone that was always validating themselves, always praising themselves, and taking the juice from everyone else, including you, and you never got that back. Or you also believe the narcissist and you believe that they were up here and you sought out their validation because you were like, oh, they're so great in this. I want them to think this way of me. That's exactly what they want. That's exactly what they thrive off of. And you are oblivious to it and you just feed it and it drains from you. And then you end up with this hole and this lack of self-validation and this constant need to depend on someone. It's like the number one thing narcissists like from people. They like making everyone else feel like they have to depend on them. Another example that's probably more prevalent or can be a result from one of the ones ones I've already given, is having a personal addiction to beauty standards or social media. Just being absolutely immersed in the consumption of unrealistic beauty standards, fake social statuses, reputation, lust, envy, nothing that you want to be doing, nothing that's on a high vibration, nothing that the universe actually intended us to be doing. We were never meant to be putting ourselves above one another and comparing, trying to be like another person, trying to look like somebody else. The beauty was our uniqueness, and that's like the one thing God gave us all that separates us from each other, is our own identity and looking unique, and that no one else in this world looks just like us unless you have an identical twin. Being able to acknowledge and accept that unfortunately you've been raised in a dystopian society that glamorizes plastic surgery, lust, hierarchies, reputation, fame. They're engraved in your brain and they're engraved in your subconscious, and that's okay. Like, that's okay. Don't freak out. That's like every woman on this earth, but it's up to you to reach a point of maturation and self-awareness that you're like, okay, I can acknowledge that it's here. Now this is the first step to changing this and to fixing this. You have to just go back and really rewire your brain. Like, I'm telling you, I've grown up in America. I have literally been raised around the idea that the beauty standard is a white, blonde, blue-eyed person, and I always never liked the way that I looked. I always thought that I was very unattractive because I have dark features. It's only been 2 years now that I've even started liking my own features, and that might sound crazy to somebody else that wasn't surrounded in an environment where it was so idolized, but for me, I couldn't find anybody attractive unless they looked a certain way. That's just because of how society brought me up and how I was influenced by media and by books and by shows and movies. Also, like the hierarchies inside of elementary schools, middle schools, high schools. Once I spent more time self-actualizing and seeking my own self-confidence and self-affirmations and esteem, I recognized the beauty in not only myself, but in everybody else. And I just looked at the most untouched, raw people, raw beauty, and it was like, oh my gosh, these people are so beautiful because I've never seen a face that looks like theirs. Sammy wanted to be in it for a second. But yeah, and it's been 2 years now, and it's honestly, I've cured my brain. I've literally unwired it, and I couldn't even imagine thinking the same way that I thought 2 years ago. It takes a lot to be able to acknowledge it and admit out loud the way that you subconsciously think. But honestly, being real with yourself and being able to have confidence in your self-awareness and to recognize it is the first thing you do to improving and to changing. And I'm so happy that these glasses have been taken off of me, and like everybody now, everybody that I see that's alive is just so beautiful to me. The last thing I'm going to talk about is not only the confidence of your own mentality, of your own education, intelligence, wisdom, etc. You got to have confidence in everything else, the external, what you look like. Like I just mentioned, I used to very much dislike all of my features, and I never took care of myself. You could literally see that I didn't have confidence because I didn't put any effort. I never started doing makeup until like literally 2 years ago. I never started doing my hair until 2 years ago. I never started actually styling myself, putting on jewelry. Like, all of this has been recent. Once I was like, you know what? I don't like the way that I look, but what I have to be real with is I can either look ugly and not confident, add it to my character, make the way that I look control my personality, or I can be ugly and not give a crap and look confident. So like, ding, 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 ding. But the thing is, fake it till you make it. Because when I chose this, I just acted so freaking confident all the time, even if I didn't believe it. Even if I didn't believe it, because it's the thing, like, you just have to look at somebody else and be like, I know there are celebrities out there where you've looked at them and you're like, they're not attractive, but for some reason I'm attracted to them. Yeah, it's because they think they're hot crap, or at least they tell themselves that, and they put out that energy, and so you eat it up, you believe it. It's the energy that pulls you in. Once I decided I was gonna fake this confidence, what I literally did was I would take videos of myself and pictures of myself a lot. I would just take a bunch of videos of myself, I'd look back at them, I would just get used to the way that I looked. Because before, I would hide my face, I would avoid photos, I'd never try, and I was like, yeah, that's just what I look like. I don't wanna post it, I don't wanna look at it, da 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 da. But when I forced myself to face it, I forced myself that, hey, even if I don't want to look at this and admit that that's what I look like, guess what? Everybody else in the world is admitting that that's what I look like. So who am I fooling? Literally, who am I fooling? And then I was like, okay, you know, I would rather look confident. I taught myself how to dress, taught myself how to do my hair, how to do my makeup, how to pose properly in pictures. I just completely faked it till I made it. And then honestly, you just form. Once you put that extra effort into yourself because you recognize that, hey, I deserve it. And nobody else just wakes up looking da-da-da-da-da. Like at the end of the day, people that look good still put effort into the way that they look. You equally deserve that. You equally deserve to feel beautiful and to do that for yourself and to tell yourself that you're beautiful, even if nobody in the world is going to agree with you. Your denial of what you look like and your need to cover your face like the world doesn't already know what you look like is body dysmorphia. But it's okay because acknowledgement is the first step to change. All right, that's all I have for this video today, but I hope it helped you recognize maybe some things you have going on inside that need some validating, or maybe you've already got this shit down and you needed this reaffirmation. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe and comment any suggestions that you may have. And yeah, see you in the next video. Bye.